Tough.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
We are back on the record. N. CR 2203. Hold on. Strike that. CR 2023-00046. Parties and appearances are the same. We do have respondents' second witness. Miss Melinda Boyle Pryor has appeared. Miss Pryor, if you could raise your right hand, please. Do you affirm or swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, you may lower your hand. Attorney Simcox or Attorney Obi?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Boyle Pryor, will you please state your full name for the record?
Melinda Boyle Pryor.
Who is your current employer?
The Wisconsin Department of Safety and Professional Services.
And we're going to be talking about them a lot. If I refer to them as DSPS, will you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you worked at DSPS?
I've worked at DSPS for about 8.5 years.
And what division at DSPS do you currently work in?
The Division of Professional Credential Processing.
And what is your current title?
Records Management Program Supervisor.
Thank you. The relevant time frame that I'm going to be discussing today is May of 2022 through December of 2022. Did you work at DSPS during that time?
Yes, I did.
And were you in the same role during that time frame?
Yes.
And your title was the same during that time?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please briefly describe to everybody what your responsibilities are and your roles as a records management program supervisor?
Yes. I oversee the credentialing unit that deals with a wide variety of health credentials. I oversee the team and assist them with processing and making sure that things are done efficiently and correctly. I also help with any escalated inquiries or situations that may be more complex and need a little bit more attention.
And in your role, are you familiar with the process by which somebody is approved for a professional counseling license in the state of Wisconsin?
Yes.
Okay. And can you briefly describe the role that DSPS plays in approving applicants to become licensed professional counselors in the state of Wisconsin?
Yes. So we take what is written in the state statutes by the legislature and the administrative code, which is written by the boards, and we enforce that for the purpose of issuing licenses and credentials.
And are you familiar with the name Dr. Molaoli?
Yes.
And how do you know that name?
I spoke with him on several occasions and corresponded via email as well.
Okay. Generally, what was the nature of your conversations?
Dr. Molaoli had a situation which needed assistance. It was a more complex situation, more unique situation where he needed assistance to work towards gaining a credential. And so I was assisting with those inquiries.
Do you recall the inquiries that you're describing in the complex situation? Do you recall whether that occurred in that time frame of May through December of 2022?
Yes, it did.
Okay. And you said it was a complex situation. Do you recall specifically what it was?
Yes, I believe that the issues at hand were that he had a temporary license that was about to expire, and he wanted to continue to practice. and had not passed the national exam and was looking for a way to continue to practice until passing the exam.
Thank you. Earlier this afternoon, we met an employee, a DSPS employee named Tammy Buckingham. Are you familiar with her?
Yes,
And how are you familiar with her?
I am her supervisor.
Okay. And there's another name that's come up throughout the course of this hearing. Somebody referred to as Ms. Charlotte. I believe the last name is Sartell. Are you familiar with that name?
Yes, I am.
Is that a DSPS employee?
Yes.
Could somebody
And-
spell Miss Charlotte's last name?
Ms.
It's
Boyle Pryor.
Sartell.
Thank you.
And how are you familiar with Ms. Sartell?
I am her supervisor as well.
Okay. And were you Ms. Sartell's supervisor during that time frame, May through December 2022?
I was her supervisor for part of that time, in that time frame.
Do you recall, you said part of that time frame. Do you recall what part of that time frame it would have been?
Yes. Late August through the rest of that time frame.
Late August or December and through currently.
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. Give me one moment while I pull up an exhibit. Ms. Boyle Pryor, I'm showing you one of the complainant's exhibits. It has been stamped with what we call a bait stamp, number ERD 33 through 34. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Are you familiar with this document?
There a chance you could zoom a little bit on the document?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Yes. Yes, I am familiar with that document.
What is this document?
This looks to me to be Teams communication back and forth, I believe, between myself and Charlotte.
Okay. Is there a date on this document that identifies when this took place?
Yes.
What date is that?
September 23rd, 2022.
Just reviewing this document, let me know if you want me to scroll anywhere. Does this refresh your memory about the conversation that you had with Charlotte on this date?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall if you ended up speaking with Dr. Molaoli on this date?
Yes, I did.
What do you recall Dr. Molaoli discussing with you during this phone call?
We had discussed the escalated issue that he was encountering and the ways that I could assist. We talked through how I could help and also his interaction with Charlotte.
Okay. And on my screen, there's a message from you to Charlotte at 10:02 on that date. You typed, "He said you did a good job. Thank you for dealing with that." Do you recall Dr. Molaoli telling you that Ms. Charlotte did a good job?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Molaoli has testified earlier today that during this interaction with Ms. Charlotte, she said something to the effect of, "Here's that black man again. He doesn't get it." During your conversation with Dr. Molaoli, did he report to you that Charlotte had said that?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions for Ms. Boyle-Pryor.
Thank you. Dr. Molaoli, your witness.
Thanks, Your I'm Ms. Pryor. How are you?
Hello. Doing well.
How are you?
I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
How are you, Ms. Pryor? How do you do?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, I would like to go through, I don't have many questions for you, but I would like to draw your attention on that very eve. Your Honor, we're going to be looking at document 035, 035 through 055. I have supplemental questions for her.
Okay, hold on. Trying to find it. Zero, you're looking for what? Zero?
The document that I'm going to discuss to cross-examine Ms. Melinda is 035. It's from Matthew Meisner.
Okay.
It's dated April 21st, 2023.
Okay, this is, and what is this again? Is this their position statement?
This is a position statement from the ERD investigator.
No, it's not
So-
from, it's to, right? It's to.
To the investigator from the respondent.
Okay,
Yes.
we already went through this earlier today, right? That, you know, when it comes to when it comes to relevance and weight and the significance to proceedings, Walker versus City of Eau Claire, Lurk decision of March 28, 2013, that prior decisions, that means the initial determination, information that was submitted to the investigator, which in this case would be Mr. Meisner, arguments of the parties have no relevance, weight, or significance to the proceedings. So they're completely irrelevant what their position statement was. You just need to simply ask her questions, okay?
I'm going to narrow down the scope of my questioning to 040 all the way through 040, the interaction between Ms. Melinda and Charlotte's Hotel.
So just ask her about it. That's all you got to do. Just ask her about it. You don't have to go through their position statement. You know what the position statement says. So just ask her the questions, okay?
That's what I wanted to let you know about the documentation, and I didn't know that it was going to spark a long, detailed discussion. I don't know. Ms. Melinda, how long have you worked for the Department of Sector and Professional Services?
For about 8.5 years.
What's your relationship between you and Charlotte Hotel?
I am her supervisor.
How would you describe her demeanor?
Can you repeat that?
How would you describe her demeanor?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that again. I apologize.
How would you describe her demeanor?
She is friendly, competent, hardworking.
Is she a full-time employee of the Department of Sector and Professional Service, or she's an attaché for a different department?
Can you repeat that?
We're having a hard time
Full-time-
hearing you.
No, Your Honor, it could be the microphone. My volume is all the way to 90. I don't know why.
Okay, maybe if you could get a little closer.
I'm not so sure what's going on. It's all the way, all zoomed out.
Okay,
It's on full blast, so I'm not so sure if I'm talking a different language, but I believe I'm speaking my.
well, it's clearer now. I think you were too far away from the microphone.
Okay. I was trying to ascertain a question here. Is she a full-time employee? Is Miss Charlotte a full-time employee of Department of Safety and Professional Service, or she's
Yeah.
working for different employee or a different firm?
Yes, she is a full-time employee.
I would like to draw your attention on the chain of events of what happened on September 23rd, 2023. You are familiar with the situation where that led to the security guard being called on the scene. Would you care to tell us what triggered that?
I am not.
Objection, foundation.
Why don't, could you
What found-
rephrase your question and perhaps just ask her if she was aware that security was called?
Ms. Melinda, are you aware of a situation where a security guard, a black security guard, was called on the scene? Are you familiar with that situation?
No, I'm not.
Okay. But you're familiar with the situation that compelled you being able to intervene in the situation, correct?
Yes.
Would you care to tell us what compelled you to join into that particular situation?
I believe Charlotte had reached out for assistance and had asked for me to follow up because because you were there and were escalated and had a question that you needed assistance with.
What was the nature of the conversation? Do you care to tell us in brief what it was about that compelled you, being a senior supervisor, the call is escalated to you, and how you got to join in? What did she say to you that you could tell this administrative court?
Charlotte wasn't able to assist with the questions at the counter, so she reached out to me so that I could call and assist and see what I could do to assist.
Did she say anything derogatory about me?
No,
What did she say to you about me?
I don't remember the particulars. I just know that she asked for assistance.
Did she ever call me a troublesome person while addressing you in reference to the phone difficulty, that fiasco where I rejected giving her my telephone? Did she, what kind of a person did she say I was to you?
Objection, foundation, hearsay.
I can rephrase that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
But I'm trying I'm trying to ascertain a point here, how the call escalated from Charlotte all the way to Melinda. Obviously there was tension, and I just want to get to the point of what exact words that she may have said to Ms. Pryor here. Whether there was anything derogatory in the interest of transparency, whether there was anything out of the ordinary.
Do you recall anything specifically about that conversation, Ms. Boyle Pryor?
I believe it was all via Teams, and it was a short conversation asking me to give a call because there was someone that was upset and needed help, and asking me to assist in that situation.
Thank you, Mrs. Pryor. I would like to refresh your memory, 040. It says here, September 23rd.
Well, hold on. That's not how we refresh. So let's see what you're looking at. Again, that's a position statement. You already had an exhibit that was just presented by Attorney Simcox, okay? So why don't we pull up that exhibit, which is 33 through 34, which actually, it's your exhibit, and let's ask her if she were to look at the team's messages, would that help her refresh her recollection?
Thank you, Alana.
Would that help you?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then let's do that.
Thank you for clarifying English. We're making it simple. You for clarifying the legal jargon of English.
All right. So I'm now have on the screen what has been well, we didn't admit it yet. Attorney Simcox, you had brought this up. This was team's communication. This was respondents marked and offered exhibit number 9, ERD 33 through 34. Were you requesting that this be admitted into evidence, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Any objection to this coming into evidence, Dr. Molaoli? Okay, hearing no objection, it's been admitted. Okay, now this, can you see this, Miss Belinda Boyle?
Could you zoom in a little bit? I'm on a small
Sure,
screen.
I can zoom in as much as you like. You tell me when it's too big or too little. Can you see it?
A little bit more, and that should be good. Thank you.
How about that?
Perfect.
Okay, and then you just tell me when you want me to scroll. And if you could just take a few minutes to look at this document to refresh your recollection, okay? And then let me know when you want me to move down a little bit.
We'll get to the upper tab, 040. Upper tab, 040.
We're not doing 040 because this is the actual text messages. This is actually good evidence. The other stuff is a position paper. I can't look at that, remember?
Is that my exhibit or it's exhibit for
It's your exhibit. It's what you offered in what you wanted to use at hearing. These are your bait stamps exhibits. Okay?
Can you scroll a little bit?
How about that?
All right. Are those the originals or the ones that were bait stamped?
This is the bait stamped. It's 33 through 34. All we do is take what you turn in and put a bait stamp on it.
We should that 33 through 34.
Okay?
Can you scroll again?
Yes.
All right. And then the next page.
Don't think I have that.
Well, they're your exhibits.
33 through 34.
Thank you. And I've finished reading it.
Yes. It's 33 through 34. Okay. These are the actual text messages that was offered and marked and admitted into evidence. So she's read them, and now it's refreshed her recollection. Now ask her questions about the text messages.
I don't have 33. I only have number, I don't have 33.
Well, I don't know why, because it's everybody else has it and everybody got the same email. It starts at the top of the page. This is what it looks like. I've had it on the screen. September 23rd, 22, messaging between Melinda Boyle Pryor and Miss Charlotte regarding the interactions with complainant.
I'll look at the heading of that documentation, please.
That is the heading.
Then I don't have that document. Mine starts.
Okay, they're your exhibits, sir. I don't understand how you cannot have it when you're the one that turned them in.
Give me a moment,
It
Your Honor.
start EXSVI, and then it goes down.
Your Honor, give me a moment, please. I don't like feeling that I'm pissed off. Give me a moment to try to process this. I just found it. Just found this. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, now what questions do you want to ask her about that?
Right, Miss Boyd, during your interaction with Mrs. Charlotte, she uses sharp words that necessitate rage, that necessitate anger, that necessitate some kind of conduct disorders. And I'd like to draw your attention onto the start of the documentation. It says here, 033, it says, Molaoli is here demanding to speak to a supervisor. He has been here 5 times, already with no response. LPC, he is talking about discrimination. It looks like he needs an exam, but he refuses to talk to me and says I'm escalating the situation. Now, Miss Melinda, would you be kind enough to tell us exactly, because this communication was between you and Miss Charlotte, where she was going with this kind of conversation?
Objection.
Yes.
Speculation.
I can
Well,
rephrase.
well, the part of it is you're reading from this exhibit, but you're leaving stuff out. Okay, so it's not completeness. I'm going to share this on the screen, and you can ask her if that's what it says.
Okay.
But you left out the I need help. And then it says he looks like he needs an exam, but he refuses to talk to me and says I am escalating the situation.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Melinda, did Charlotte ever explain to you why the call was escalating to you?
It's in the messages. When someone has repeatedly asked for assistance and isn't getting the help they need, that's often escalated to me.
And the call was being escalated to you as the senior supervisor. Did she explain exactly to you what her kind of demeanor was, why the complainant, which is me, why he requested the discussion to be escalated to you? Did she explain anything to you about her demeanor?
No, all that we had was this communication.
At one moment, she asks, she says that the complainant is refusing to give a telephone number. Are you familiar about that, where she said that I refuse to give a telephone number to her?
Yes.
Did she explain to you why I refuse to give her the telephone number?
Not to my recollection.
Okay. Did she explain to you that she was rude and she yelled and she threw a pen right on the counter and she left me out there and she left for a moment? Did she explain that to you?
Objection form.
I'm going to allow it. Did she say anything about what he just described?
No.
And Your Honor, allow me, I hope I'm not trying to interject two exhibits at once, but the same discussion that I'm trying, it's in the initial, it's exhibit, it's 014, but part of the attention is on 018. I would
Hold on.
like,
Let me find it, and let's see if it's something that's even admissible. Once again, this is your, it's an argument you made to the equal rights officer regarding information. You don't need to, you can't give me the argument you made to them. You need to give me an argument you make to me.
Your Honor, what I'm trying to substantiate here is the nature of how I was
This-
trying to.
This is where we get confused as to what is evidence, okay? What you turned into them is what you turned into them. You don't read to me from a piece of paper. What you do is you talk to me. This is your chance to have a one-on-one conversation where you talk to me about what happened and you describe to me what happened. It's not what you turned into the equal rights officer. Otherwise, if that's all this was, we wouldn't even need to have a conversation today. I wouldn't swear anybody in. I'd just read what you turned into them and call it a day. But that's not fair.
It makes sense. I can rephrase the question.
Thank you.
Allow me to rephrase the question. Ms. Melinda, at one moment, Charlotte explained to you that the complainant refused to offer his telephone number to her. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Did she explain to you why I refused to give her my telephone number?
No.
Okay. Did she ever tell you that she was rude and loud when she was approaching me and she threw a pen at the counter and she left for a moment? She couldn't deal with me. Did she say anything to you like that? Because I don't see that in these notes here in your, what you told us. Do you call them Teams notes, whatever? Anything, whatever you call them? Are these team notes? Did she explain anything like that to you?
No.
Okay. All right. The other level, which is on the same page 033, I don't know whether you were made aware when a security guard was summoned to get to the scene. Were you made aware of that scenario? I can refresh your memory and give you his names. The black gentleman from Egypt.
Or rather than refresh her memory with what you're telling her, why don't you have her look at the document again?
I appreciate that, Your Honor. Ms. Melinda, I would, Your Honor, we are looking at 033 right to the bottom. Right to the bottom, it says here.
No, don't tell us what it says. The document speaks for itself.
Sure thing.
Okay, before we talk about it, let's have her take a look at this again. Okay.
Thank you for making English simpler.
Yes, I have that up now. Thank you.
Okay. His question was, what do you know about the security guard?
My knowledge is that the security guard came over of his own volition because things had gotten a little loud.
Things have got a little loud from each side.
I don't know.
Did any other staff explain anything to you besides Miss Charlotte's version of the team's version of events between you and her? Did anybody ever explain anything to you?
No.
Okay. Normally, Mr. What's his name? Security guard. His name is, I can't pronounce that name, but I call him H-E-H. Ehart, something like that. Did you have any discussion with the security guard to ascertain the series of events, what transpired and what didn't transpire?
No.
Okay. Do security guards normally call on people, applicants, at any one moment with your department?
I don't understand the question. Could you rephrase it?
Thank you. Is it normal behavior with Department of Professional Services for white employees to call security guards on black applicants? That's my nature of question. If you can help me answer that.
Objection form foundation.
His question is, and and you tell me if I'm wrong, Dr. Molaoli. His question is it routine or normal during the course of business for the Department of Safety and Professional Services to call security guards on Black people?
By white
No.
people, by white staff. Thank you, Your Honor.
For white staff to call security guards on Black people. Is that normal, and is that part of what you all do?
No.
So this is the first time. This is the first time in the 8 years you worked in that with your employer to see a security guard being called on a patron, correct?
Well, that's you're mischaracterizing what she said. Because she never said, she said nobody called. It got so loud over there that the security guard walked over all on his own. Nobody called him. That's her testimony.
Okay.
Okay? So you can't say that she said something she didn't say. So ask your question a different way.
Miss Charlotte asked for my telephone number. Are there any records in your department that has record of my telephone number at all in any way whatsoever?
I don't know for sure, but usually application materials do contain phone numbers.
Do you have any recollection on any specific document that you know where Moiketsky has his number or any telephone number or any documentation that is in custody of your firm, your state agency?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you have any, or to the best of your ability, do you know of any documentation that I may have forwarded in that has anything to do with my personal telephone number or my work number or my staff's number, anything to do with my office? Anything that connects the number pointing to me?
Again, I can't say for certain, but I believe we would have something like that on file.
According to the record, Charlotte Satel explains that Moiketsky is refusing to forward his particular number, and he seems very angry. But the record shows there is a record in the Department of Safety and Professional Service, not one, not twice, but three. There is a record that shows that there is a telephone number on record.
That's a statement. That's your argument. That's not a question. Okay? Your question, you have to ask her questions. Now is not the time for you to make argument, okay? So you've already asked her, is there anything that they have that would have your work number, your personal number, your staff number? And she says she doesn't have the records with her, but it would make sense, essentially, that yes, they should have something that has your number on it, especially since they have your application.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I move on toward to
Hold on, application.
Your Honor, if it's possible, I would like to have in this exhibit, offer this exhibit as evidence. 030.
Which exhibit?
030.
030?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. ERD 30. All right. All right. I'm going to show what is 030. Hold on. Let me. I think my mouse is dying and I need another battery. All right. If I can scroll over here, we will get it. Give me 1 second. All right. Bear with me. Hold on 1 second. Let me see here. All right. There we go. Maybe, maybe not. All right. Okay. All right. This is 130. Oh, excuse me. It's 030. Let me get to the bottom of it. Oops. Whoa. Hold on. Okay, there we go. There's your exhibit. This is ERD 030. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
What did you want to ask about this, Dr. Molaoli?
I have two follow-up questions on that 030, and I have a quick question here from Miss Melinda here. Miss Melinda, during this most recent e-training license renewal, you reiterated point to me that I cannot be my own supervisor, and you informed me that it's protocol to fill out form 2456 revised 8 of 2016, and you said I need an outsourced or an internal supervisor, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then at one moment, Dr. Knight, Miller D. Knight, PhD, he's a doctor, he faxed in his supervision documentation. Do you have any recollection when that document must have docked your employer or your office? If you have any knowledge of that, I don't mean to be abrasive.
I don't recall exactly, but I believe it was in follow-up to this communication.
Yes, indeed. You said you don't recollect?
Not exactly, no.
Because that's the same second follow-up question that we asked you. My staff, Ayana, sent you an email, and she asked, hey, well, I think she sent you an email, and then you sent back an email where she asked you whether you had received that fax or received that email in that manner, a follow-up email where you say that you may not have received it in a timely manner.
That's a
Because
statement. That's a statement. That's not a question.
the question
So,
was, she said she doesn't recollect, Your Honor. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you. And I would like to admit the same exhibit 030 and 029 as evidence.
Well, let's talk about 029. You haven't even introduced it or shown it or talked about it. So I think we need to share that and see if somebody can identify what this is, and then we will talk about that. Okay. So this is exhibit ERD 29. What is this?
About that.
Miss Belinda Boyle, I am so mangled up your name. Miss Boyle Pryor, have you, and I apologize, ma'am. Do you know what this is?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
It is a supervisor approval form that is submitted for professional counselor training licenses to get supervisor approval.
Okay, so this is somebody who's saying, hey, I'm going to supervise the person that's applying for the training license?
Exactly, yes.
Okay. And do you know when this was received?
I do not.
But you know of the date when.
No, that's what I'm asking. You can't say, but you know of something, okay? I'm asking her, does she know when this was received by DSPS? Because it doesn't have a receive date. That's why I'm asking, does she know?
No, I don't.
Are you familiar by any chance that, but you are familiar or you know the date when that extension was granted based on this supervision approval form, correct? The one on the screen, the 029.
I don't remember the exact date offhand, but I am familiar, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna scroll through here because I think this part of this is out of order. Okay. So I'm gonna look at it's literally going to be we've got this email that appears to be starting on page 30, which we've already discussed, that says, please provide my email address to your supervisor and have them submit this form. Is this the form that we were talking about? The supervisor form?
Yes.
Okay, and if you go to the end of that email thread, this says from MSM staff, which would be Dr. Molaoli, it says, please find the attached information to aid in timely licensure renewal. And would this form have been that licensure aid form that he was talking about? The supervisor form? Is that what he was supposed to send you back?
Yes, but we collect those directly from the supervisor.
Okay. So it's not something that he would submit to you? Like he wouldn't take the form to the supervisor and say, hey, fill this out. Supervisor gives it back to him, and then he submits it to you. It's something you get directly from the supervisor? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't know when you got it, but you know you got it.
Yes.
And you know you got it because you approved his temporary renewal. Is that correct?
The training license renewal, yes.
Yeah, the renewal. Okay. All right. So I'm taking these as two different exhibits. The first one was the email from Ms. Boyle prior to the complainant regarding the supervisor form. That has been marked. It has been offered. Any objection to admitting that, Attorney Simcox?
No objection.
Okay. Now we have the actual supervisor training form, which appears to be completed. That's ERD 029. Are you asking that this be admitted, Dr. Molaoli?
It's my initial precatory prayer. Yes.
Okay. All right. Any objection, Attorney Simcox?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So hearing no objection, supervisor form that is completed is has been marked, offered, and admitted. Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Boyle Pryor?
Two follow-up questions, Your Honor. I got carried away while you were assisting the process. Ms. Boyer, you indicated that these forms, the 2, 4, 5, 6 of the respondent, they come directly from the supervisor, correct?
Yes.
And the supervisor faxed you this form December 2nd from Beloit, Wisconsin, from Community Health Systems, December 2nd. Was the office ever in receipt of that documentation or no?
I don't
Objection.
recall.
That was asked and answered. We already went through all of that with the exhibit. She doesn't know when she got it, but she knows she got it. And how do we know? Because you got your renewal on your license. So asking her again if she got it, we've already answered that.
Your Honor, I'm trying to get to a point here where the documentation was sent in on a specific date. And the relevance of that email that you're looking at, which is being admitted, the follow-up email from my staff, Ayana, who sent it to Ms. Boyle, was to find out if she ever got that fax. It was just a way of non-pestering her, but trying to make a follow-up to make sure that she received that form. It was from the 2nd of December all the way through the 26th of the 27th when the licensure was extended. I'm trying to establish cause here. I don't know if I'm losing a point, but if there is resistance, I can back off from it.
Well, there's not resistance. I'm just not trying. She doesn't know. You're saying they received it on December 2nd. She's already testified. She doesn't know when it was received. But we already have into evidence that your license was renewed on December 27th of 2022.
You have to look at the time frame in between from December 2nd all the way through December 27th. The time period in between.
But she doesn't have that knowledge. That's what she's trying to tell you. She sent you this email on December the 23rd.
We sent an email first to her. Now that she sent us an email, we reached out.
You sent an email on December 21st. That's already there. That's ERD 30 through 31.
Right.
Okay. So that's that entirety of the email. You send her something saying, hey, please find attached information to aid in timely license renewal. I don't know what that attached information is because it's not here. Okay. So don't know what that is, but we've got that email. In any event, she responds back to you on the 23rd saying, we haven't received the document from your supervisor yet. Please give them my email and have them submit this form directly to me. So as of December 23rd, she had not received it. And I don't have anything with the date on it that tells me when it was faxed. And she's already testified that she doesn't know. So if you have a date stamped receipt of that fax, then let's look at it.
We don't have it as of now. We don't have it yet. It's not something
Okay.
that is.
So we don't have that. Okay. So then we have to just move on. She's told you.
I understand. I move on to the last question. So, as Melinda, I don't know whether it's going to be a speculation or whatever, but the question was still going to be surrounding that very particular document. I will withdraw that. It's fine.
Any other questions for Ms. Boyle Pryor? No? Okay. Any follow-up, Attorney Simcox? Can't hear you. I think you're muted, sir.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. One moment. I'd just like to review my notes.
Okay.
Yes, briefly, just one point, Your Honor.
Sure.
Ms. Boyle Pryor, I'm going to show you an exhibit to try to clarify the last line of inquiry. Give me one moment. Ms. Boyle Pryor, can you see my screen?
Yes.
I'm showing you an exhibit that was admitted earlier in another witness's testimony. This is ERD Bate stamped 110 through 1112. The title of this document is an application status query. Are you familiar with this type of document?
Yes.
Okay, and is this the document kept in the ordinary course of records at DSPS?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to scroll to a particular date on here to try to answer a question. I'm on page 112, and in this box it says board approval. If you look to the right of that, we see some dates. And we established earlier through Ms. Buckingham, I'll represent to you that she says that when she makes an entry, she signs with her initials TMB. Can you tell from this document here when the renewal was approved from the board liaison?
Yes.
And what is that date?
12/27/2022.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
One follow-up question, Your Honor.
It has to be on that specific thing. You can't ask her anything else because this is your recross, and your recross is only to what Attorney Simcox just mentioned. So if you have something specifically about that entry, you may ask.
Ms. Boyle, there is a concern about Form 2252, which talks about convictions of applicants, whether criminal interactions or any egregious crime or whatever whatsoever. We have a problem here on the last.
No, that's outside the scope. Okay. That's outside the scope. Okay. You were supposed to ask her any and all questions you had on your cross exam. You said you were done. So now it goes to Attorney Simcox. He then gets to ask her any additional questions based on anything that you may have elicited. You were concerned about the date that form was actually sent back. What is it? 2456 form, when that was sent back for the renewal. Okay. And she didn't know when it had been received. He then just asked one question, which pertained to when did the board approve it? And it was approved on December 27 of 22. So you can ask him about that, but you can't ask her about anything else because that's outside the scope of what he just asked her. Okay?
We can move on. It's all right.
All right. I'm going to ask something because I can. But I think it's going to help clarify a few things. I'm showing you that same exhibit that was just brought up. And Ms. Boyle Pryor, either you know or you don't know, but there's a section on this query. I'm drawing everybody's attention to ERD page 111. That's called the employer affidavit. Is that the supervisor form that we are talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a date? Do we know when it was received? Can you tell from this entry as to when you received that supervisor form for the renewal?
Can you zoom in a little bit? And then I'll be able
Sure.
to tell you. 12/21/2022.
So that's when you received it and then sent it on to the board?
Yes.
And it was completed and approved when?
12/27/2022.
Okay. All right. We are done then with Miss Boyle Pryor. Thank you. Attorney Simcox?
Oh, no, I was waving goodbye out of force of
Oh.
habit. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll all wave goodbye. Okay, we are done with you, Miss Boyle Pryor. Thank you. All right. Are there any further witnesses from the respondent?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Then we are at close here of evidence. I will allow the parties to a post hearing brief if people feel that's necessary. I'm not sure that we do need it, but I will hear argument on that. Does anybody feel we need this?
I'll go ahead. We just have a brief closing statement, and beyond that, we don't believe briefing will be necessary.
Okay. Do you have a position, Dr. Molaoli?
I don't know if it's if time allows today or tomorrow. I don't know, Your Honor. I would like to have that spoken.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow everyone to give me a brief closing argument. Okay. So we're going to do that right now. So sum up your case as it pertains to those issues and tell me why you feel for your case, Dr. Molaoli, you need to tell me why you feel that you have proven that there's probable cause to believe the respondent violated the Wisconsin Fair Employment Law as it pertains to your licensure based on your race, color, national origin, and conviction record. So give me a brief summary of your argument, sir.
Not short of words what to say, but in short and in a nutshell, to sum up what is supposed to be my closing brief. Based on the memorandum that I first made and my own testimony, that I believe that the respondent, Department of Sexual Professional Services, has violated my rights and subjected me to a racial animus based on my race, color, ancestry, and criminal interaction of man-made law. And why do I say that? Why do I say that? It's just in layman's terms. Just for the fact, in simple terms, I'm trying to seek services onto a forefront counter, either by phone or by fax or by going there in person, and I'm meeting resistance and I'm meeting some form of animus. I may have been able to prove my case with some particular documentation or maybe lack of particular words to say. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, but I believe to the best of my knowledge, I'll try to ascertain my facts. And as it comes to the licensure, most of my exhibits have not been admitted because we are talking of another outsourced party who is in relationship with the respondent, which is NBCC, which has created a detriment for me as an applicant, as a tax-paying citizen, as a business owner. And my livelihood stopped then. Do I have any necessity to go back and try to have that chance to go back and feel comfortable with the the uh, the respondents, subcontractor, National Board of Certified Counselor, NBCC or Pearson's view to go attempt their exam is something that I'm yet to think about, or a different recourse of what to be the other channel or avenue to take, because I'm not going to stop this year because my livelihood is almost stopped. I've had financial backgrounds, financial constraints, and I've taken a pay cut. Am I comfortable going to the respondents over the counter based on the treatment, the racial animus, to go back over the counter again to ask for a service as a taxpaying citizen? I don't think so. I don't have that courage anymore. I don't have that moral turpitude. I don't have that confidence anymore in the respondent to even go over the desk, even give a phone call, or even send a fax and ask for service again. Now that changes the course of action. That changes the course of action. I'm in fear going to attempt that very exam. I'm in fear going to the respondent to ask for any other extension anywhere whatsoever. So I'm halfway stuck, just caught in the middle. Who's coming to my aid? That's what I'm yet to figure out past this litigation. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay. Attorney Obi?
Thank you, Your Honor. This case is about the requirements under Wisconsin law to obtain a professional counselor license. One of the requirements is that the applicant take and pass one of the required exams. These exams are required to show competency to practice in the profession, and the requirements apply equally to all applicants regardless of race, color, or national origin. As to conviction record, the licensing statute does screen applicants for conviction records that substantially relate to the circumstances of the particular licensed activity. This is subject to Wisconsin statute 111.321, 111.322, and 111.335. However, this was determined not to apply to Dr. Molaoli and is not relevant to the denial of licensure in his case. We do understand that Dr. Molaoli has certain misgivings over his interactions with certain staff members within the Department of Safety and Professional Services. But at the end of the day, despite ample opportunity to do so, Dr. Molaoli did not pass the required exams required for licensure in Wisconsin, and that is the only reason he was denied a professional counselor license. As far as the exams themselves, the exam providers are independent organizations who create, own, and administer those exams absent any involvement from the Department of Safety and Professional Services. DSPS is bound by statute and administrative rule, which provide that the NCE, the NCMHCE, and the CRC are the acceptable exams for the exam requirement to obtain the professional counselor license in Wisconsin. The evidence presented in this case supports the decision made by the ERD investigator that no probable cause exists to support Dr. Molaoli's allegations that the Department of Safety and Professional Services discriminated against him on the basis of race, color, national origin, or conviction record. Therefore, the Department of Safety and Professional Services requests that the no probable cause determination be affirmed by this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I want to go quickly now through all of the exhibits that were admitted just to make sure we are all on the same page. And I'm going to go through those, okay? So in terms of we have the complainant's first exhibit was ERD 60 through 78, and that was excluded for reasons already put on the record in regards to it is something that is immaterial to this case. and it is irrelevant for the purposes of a probable cause hearing. Therefore, that was excluded. Complainant exhibit number 2 is ERD 56 through 59. That was the complainant's MBCC exam scores that was marked, offered, and admitted without objection. Respondent exhibit number 1, ERD 110 through 112. It's the Wisconsin application status query for a training license that was marked, offered, and admitted without objection. Respondent exhibit number 2, that is ERD 101 through 102. That is the Wisconsin application status query for the temporary license of a professional counselor. I believe that's correct. That was again marked, offered, and admitted without objection. Respondent exhibit number 3 was ERD 107 through 109. That was the complainant's application for renewal of the training license, marked, offered, and admitted into evidence without objection. Respondent exhibit number 4, that is ERD 103 through 106. That was the Wisconsin DSPS credential and enforcement and NBCC exam scores. That was marked, offered, and admitted without exception or objection, excuse me. Respondent exhibit number 5 is ERD 128 through 130. That was the Wisconsin Administrative Code, Chapter 457.12, again offered, marked, and admitted without objection. Respondent exhibit number 6, ERD 134 through 135, Wisconsin Administrative Code, MPSW 11.01, that was marked, offered, and admitted without objection. Respondent exhibit number 7 is ERD 113 through 117. That was the email chain between Ms. Buckingham and Ms. Scheidegger. That was marked, offered, and admitted without objection. Respondent exhibit number 8 is ERD 131 to 132. That was the Wisconsin Administrative Code, section or chapter 457.14, marked, offered, and admitted without objection. Respondent exhibit number 9 is ERD 033 through 034. That is the team's communication between Ms. Sartell and Ms. Boyle Pryor that was marked, offered, and admitted into evidence without objection. Complainant's exhibit number 3 was ERD 030 through 031. That was the email from Ms. Boyle Pryor to the complainant regarding the supervisor form. That was marked, offered, and admitted into evidence without objection. Complainant's exhibit number 4 is ERD 029, which is the supervisor training form. That was marked, offered, and admitted into evidence without objection. Those are the hearing exhibits that I have. Does everyone agree that those were the exhibits that were marked, offered, and admitted into evidence?
I believe that's correct, Your Honor.
Dr. McLeod?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Evidence is now closed. I thank everyone for their participation. Dr. Molaoli, I would like to thank you, sir, for your patience and with today's hearing. It's a little different. Just like none of us know how to be a doctor and a counselor, you have the same problem coming back trying to play lawyer. So I feel your pain. But unfortunately, the law does not allow me to play lawyer for you. I can procedurally try to help you with some things, but just to make the hearing run a little smoother. But I can't give you legal advice. And while you may not understand why things are the way they are, it is what it is. Okay? All right. So thank you everyone for everyone's patience today. It was greatly appreciated. I realize it's harder when not everybody's an attorney, but thank you everyone for your patience in this matter. Is there anything else from anyone? Dr. Molaoli?
Oh, you're on.
Okay. Attorney Simcox or Attorney Obi, anything else?
Nothing
Not
from
our side.
me.
Okay, we are done then. No need to come back tomorrow. We are
Oh.
done. It's going to take a while for this decision to come out. I do decisions in the order in which I do hearings. So this obviously is not my first hearing this week, nor the ones that I had last week or the week before. So I go through them. I do hearings every day. I do hearings every week. So you're on the pile, but don't expect a decision in the within the next a week or two. Okay, give me some time to get to it. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. All right. Bye bye.
Thank you.